Before she stood on the floor of the United States Congress, before she delivered fiery speeches that went viral, before she became one of the most talked about young political figures in America, Jasmine Crockett was shaped by a simple but powerful idea. Justice matters, and someone must fight for it. The story of Jasmine Felicia Crockett is not just the story of a politician. It's the story of a daughter of a preacher and a postal worker from St. Louis, Missouri, who dared to believe that a single voice, raised with courage, clarity, and conviction, could shake halls of power and give hope to communities that have long felt ignored. Born on March 29, 1981, Crockett's life would become a testament to relentless perseverance, moral conviction, and an unyielding belief that leadership belongs to those who serve, not to those who sit in comfort. Growing up in St. Louis, Crockett was deeply influenced by her family's commitment to service and faith. Her father, Joseph Crockett, was both a teacher and preacher, roles that emphasized leadership grounded in compassion and moral clarity. Her mother, Gwen Crockett, worked for the U.S. Postal Service, embodying a commitment to community and connection. From an early age, Jasmine learned that leadership wasn't about power, it was about responsibility. Education became her first battleground. She pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration at Rhodes College, graduating in 2003, before answering a deeper call to justice by attending law school. She began her legal studies at Texas Southern University's Thurgood Marshall School of Law and ultimately earned her Juris Doctor from the University of Houston Law Center in 2006, launching a legal career focused on defending the vulnerable. For Crockett, the law wasn't just a profession, it was a platform for change. She served as a public defender in Bowie County, Texas, representing individuals who had nowhere else to turn. She stood in courts not to crush her opponents, but to ensure fairness and dignity for those facing life-altering consequences. She later practiced civil rights and personal injury law, even taking pro bono cases for activists in movements such as Black Lives Matter, blending legal rigor with a profound sense of mission. But legal advocacy was only the beginning. In 2020, Jasmine Crockett took her fight directly into politics, entering a Democratic primary to represent Texas's 100th district in the Texas House of Representatives. In a grassroots campaign fueled by community engagement and an unwavering message of justice and equity, she narrowly defeated the incumbent in a runoff and won the general election unopposed, taking office in January 2021. As a state representative, Crockett quickly made her presence felt. In the summer of 2021, she played a leading role in a quorum-busting walkout alongside other Democrats in the Texas House, flying to Washington, D.C. to draw national attention to proposed state legislation she and her colleagues believed would restrict voting rights. Rather than retreating from confrontation, she stood at the forefront of a strategic, controversial, and highly visible protest, embodying her belief that political action must match moral urgency. 2 years later, when longtime U.S. Representative Eddie Bernice Johnson announced her retirement, Crockett seized the opportunity to expand her voice to the national stage. With Johnson's endorsement and a growing base of supporters, she won the Democratic primary and was elected as the U.S. Representative for Texas's 30th Congressional District, assuming office on January 3, 2023. From the moment she entered Congress, her style was unmistakable, bold, articulate, unfiltered, and unapologetically principled. She became known not only for her advocacy for civil rights, reproductive freedom, racial justice, and LGBTQ+ protections, but also for her willingness to speak truth to power. In congressional hearings and on the House floor, she challenged opponents across the aisle, delivering lines that quickly spread across social media and mainstream news, moments that elevated her profile far beyond her Texas district.
Her rhetoric has drawn both admiration and controversy, making her one of the most talked-about members of Congress. In high-profile clashes, Crockett has criticized figures including former President Donald Trump and tech leaders aligned with his administration, refusing to soften her language even when faced with backlash. One exchange, where she famously offered two blunt words when asked what she would say to Elon Musk, highlighted her combative style and unwillingness to back down from powerful opponents. But Crockett's focus has never been mere spectacle. In the 118th and 119th Congresses, she served in leadership roles, including freshman leadership representative and vice-ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, advocating for transparency, accountability, and justice in federal governance. She has voted on major issues, including foreign aid and fiscal legislation, seeking to balance pragmatic policy with her core values of fairness and equality. In 2025, she took the next step in her political journey, launching a campaign for the U.S. Senate, aiming to become the first Democrat in decades to hold statewide office in Texas and expand her voice on the national stage. Her campaign has centered on voter engagement, especially among communities of color, and on building a coalition rooted in grassroots empowerment and bold leadership. Today, Jasmine Crockett stands as one of the most dynamic and controversial figures in contemporary American politics, a lawyer turned legislator, an advocate turned national voice, and a representative whose rise reflects both the challenges and possibilities of modern democracy. Her story is far from finished, and in an era defined by fierce debate and political transformation, she continues to push, challenge, and shape the future she believes America must become.
And so, the story of Jasmine Crockett is not just about politics, it's about courage. It's about standing when it's easier to sit, speaking when silence feels safer, and believing, even in divided times, that justice is still worth fighting for. From courtrooms to Capitol Hill, from community advocacy to national leadership, her journey proves that real change does not begin with power, it begins with conviction. And this story is still being written. Because leaders like Jasmine Crockett don't wait for history to happen, they make it. If you believe stories like this matter, stories of power, people, history, and impact, then this is your place. Welcome to Explainary, where we don't just tell stories, we explain the world. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications for more powerful documentaries on leaders, empires, brands, and movements that shaped our past and define our future. See you in the next story.